Hello, Durud and Shalom. We be live. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I missed you. It's been 5 minutes, but I'm back. It's okay. It's okay. Well, let's just jump into this. Okay, so let's see who's in the group already. Oh, look at this. 27 people already here. Let's just let me turn on my camera and my microphone and then jump inside. Okay, this can
deviate from that, like they're Trump supporters. But it's
looking.
Hey,
what?
Sorry.
hey. Hello.
sorry, the joke.
Hey, Armin.
Hello, sorry.
I didn't know what.
It's a hi to Joe. Love you to Joe.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey,
Hi, Armin.
sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry, I keep
Yeah.
Hi, Armin.
when it's on
I thought Edith was having a stroke for a second.
no, when it's on the hour, like when you see it's getting close to the hour, like just prepare to get interrupted for my annoying entrance every time. Sorry about
Yes,
that.
exactly. How dare you?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was prepared. It wasn't a
Yes.
stroke. Thank God.
Yeah, you make me feel so welcome here every time I come. And thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
Oh no, there's two sketches again instead of one. I don't know what's happening. Sketch, is there any way to make it one, or is it just gonna glitch that we have to deal with?
It is two.
Armin, it's a glitch.
There's two of several people here.
Damn it.
There's two Jeffreys, two Sophies.
Hopefully it'll
No
fix
bunnies.
it. Hopefully it'll fix it. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, Sketch, are you modding? Two bunnies, two buns.
There are also people that are not here at all. They're not even logged in. They haven't been logged in like 10 hours, like Danny.
Yeah, they're ghost.
Oh, okay. Well, oh, Danny is here. Oh, Danny, who's modding? I'm not hearing anybody speaking. Do you guys hear Sketch? I'm not hearing Sketch.
No, Armin, Danny Spivak is not here because it shows in my DMs with him when he last logged in.
Okay.
Okay.
Sketch. Okay, Sketch. Go
Yes.
ahead, Sketch.
Can you
You're
hear me?
modding? Yes. Are you modding?
I'll mod. I think there's a problem with the school, and maybe he's not really here. Maybe there's
It's
supposed to be
okay.
two of him if he's here.
Don't worry about it. Let's just go. I'm just not gonna pin you guys because if there's one of you, I will pin you. Oh, Susie is here. Hi, Susie. But now I can't pin you because if I pin you, there's gonna be two of you like this, which is it's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna pin you. Okay.
Double the monkey.
Double the monkey. Yeah. Okay. So do you want a mod?
Yes. I'll do it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so let's tell people how things work here, and then we get started.
All right. If you're new here, please welcome to the show. We would love to hear from you. We have some rules on when we're talking. One thing that's very important is that everybody on the bottom of the screen mute their microphones. Why do we do this? To avoid feedback. If you don't do this, it becomes an echo feedback loop, very bad for the audio. We have a way of organizing the topics. Anyone can propose a topic. It's good that you put it in early, but you put a 1 and you write down about a sentence about your topic, not too long, so we could write it at the bottom of the screen. And with that, we make a list of topics. If you want to comment on a current topic, you put in a 2. I'll be looking for the 2s when a topic starts and organize those. And remember, this is going out live. All of this is being recorded live. So anything you write on the chat, remember at the bottom right, there's like a double rectangle on the bottom. That's the chat. That's where you write in the 1s, where you write in the 2s, and everything being said there is going out to the public. So be mindful of not revealing any personal information, saying anything that might cause us problems with YouTube and anything like that. And with that, we will go to Armin. Armin, any updates for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to see what you guys think about this. If you could put 2s on the chat before we go to other people's topics. So the White House is saying that the Islamic Republic is going to is selling its oil. So I've gotten, by the removal of the blockade, they got sanction waivers, and they get vouchers. They're not going to get money. they get to buy American soy, corn, wheat with it with these vouchers. They're not going to be able to go. They're not going to get any cash to be able to go sell weapons. And in return, the main thing that the United States has gotten in return is IAEA inspectors, both from the UN and the US. Which is, if the US is correct, that would be a really big win. In return to go inside Iran, because that would be humiliating if the murderer of Qasem Soleimani and Khamenei gets to put Americans inside Iran. Like, that would be very devastating for the Islamic Republic if that happens. That's what the White House is saying. So that I don't know what the number is. Some people are saying this oil sale that the Islamic Republic has already has already gotten them 4 billion, 5 billion, 6 billion. I'm getting different numbers. Recently, I'm getting the 6 billion number. That's a lot of money in a very short amount of time. But the thing everybody is saying that they didn't get a single dollar. They're just getting something like food stamps that they could only buy American foods with. Before I tell you what the Islamic Republic is saying in response, let me just tell you that's already there's a loophole around this. An obvious loophole, honestly. The Islamic Republic could go just sell the food for money and buy drones and missiles with it. And better and even easier, they could just give the food to Hezbollah and allow so if you want to make sure that you're not even transferring any money to Hezbollah, you could just fill trucks of food and send it to Hezbollah and get Hezbollah to sell the food in Lebanon and use the money to buy, I don't know, FPV drones against Israel. That's an easy way around all of this. I mean, we already saw this. Hamas, the food aid that made it to Gaza was, instead of getting it to the people in Gaza for free, which was supposed to be like that, Hamas took it and sold it, tripled the price, and used the money to make rockets against the Israelis. So this is obviously what's going to happen here as well. I mean, there's that. But other than that, then the Islamic Republic responded by saying, like, nah, first of all, we did not agree to any IAEA inspectors inside Iran. That's a lie. Which is, I mean, that sounds insane for them to say that, because, like, what would they, like, obviously if they allowed you to sell oil at market prices without sanctions, without a discount that they usually have to China, because there's no sanctions in US dollars at market prices, that's a big win for the Islamic Republic. Even if it's short term, it's a big win for them. Obviously the Islamic Republic must have given something big for them to get that. So I don't, like, it's hard. Like, I know it's you guys, like, obviously the Islamic Republic lies. I mean, yeah, but it's actually more complicated. The Islamic Republic has its own internal supporters to worry about. They will be going for their throats if they realize that they have accepted inspectors inside Iran. So maybe they're just trying to buy time with their own internal supporters within the Islamic Republic. Maybe that's what's happening. But so and also the Islamic Republic is also saying that it's a lie that we only can buy American food. We could buy whatever food we want with these vouchers. That's the deal. They're saying they're misrepresenting it, and they actually have the audacity to come out and say we might buy American food if it's good quality. That's what they're saying. So they're saying that. So there's that. But I just want to say what we see is happening and get your impression of what you think is actually happening based on everything we saw so far. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys speak because I've already been speaking for 2 hours, actually 3 hours straight. So let's continue.
You were doing the Persian show.
The Persian show.
I saw that.
Show. Yeah, you saw that. Okay,
I didn't understand, but it seemed important. It seemed like
yeah. I'm glad you saw it, Sketch, because no, wait. I'm so glad you saw it because I was being interviewed by Nejat Bahrami, which is one of the highest advisors and one of the within the team, within Princess of Pahlavi's team, part of the Iran Prosperity Project. The person, he wrote a huge section of the booklet under the direction of Princess of Pahlavi, and he meets with him often and talks to him often. And I wasn't interviewing him; he was interviewing me. He was asking questions of me, which was crazy, like a huge honor for me. So that's what that was. So Yeah, thank you for noticing that.
So you're already on board with the team, but being more directly on board is like 100%, something you would like, and I would like to see you there too. Next to respond on this, we have Wyatt.
Hey there. People with empty bellies rebel and people with full bellies don't. Not to be cruel, but I would like all this food to disappear. I would like the oil fields to burn. I'd like the electricity to go off, and then people will be free. Because I think this deal is just going to make the revolution less likely to happen. All right, that's it.
So, just a quick response to that. First of all, if the Iranian people hear that, they're gonna be very upset that anybody said that. And also, the Iranian people are not hungry. This is not about hunger. This is about food prices being so high, and we're not getting starvation yet, and we don't want to go there at all. And if the Iranians' understanding is that the American policy is to starve them so that they rebel, it will hurt the unity between the Iranians and the Americans. And what we're dealing right now is malnutrition in children. Because of higher food prices, we're not saying starvation, but we are saying malnutrition in children. And I don't think malnutrition in children is going to get us uprised. It might, because it will make parents angry. But the point of doing an uprising in Iran and changing the regime is to get a a government that wants to be friendly to the whole rest of the world, right? One of the points is that, right? So we don't want to sacrifice the view of the Iranian people of the rest of the world, which is positive. If we sacrifice that, then that's a loss, right? So just keep that in mind as well, that the Iranian people are very America friendly and they love America. So basically them thinking that they're being starved so that they do an uprising will challenge that relationship that they have with America, and they see America as their ally and their friend, and it's not a good idea to root. I think that's an asset for America, and it's good for America to have that, so it would be good not to mess with that.
All right. Next on our list, we have Jonathan.
Jonathan,
are you with us?
Can you hear me?
yes,
Yes.
I can hear.
Oh, okay. The way I understand it is that all the sanctions relief that they've given Iran so far is coming out of an American escrow account. So it can't go directly to the IRGC. They're putting rules in place on how they're allowed to spend that money.
Yeah, so I already addressed that. There's a really way to get around that. When you get they can spend it only on food, but you can't sell the food and get money. Once you get the food, you can sell the food and get money.
This is also known as the Hamas method. They've done this successfully in Gaza. Next to respond on this is Raham.
Hello. You okay?
Yes.
Dude. Hi. Yeah. So I just had a question about this. So regarding that escrow account, did Vance say that the Qataris can also determine how the money is spent? Did I hear that right?
Yeah. So the Qataris are in charge of making sure all of this is being spent on the, on food and stuff, which is it's weird because I don't trust them.
Yeah, that's not promising at all.
Yeah, that's not promising at all. Yeah. Also, Raham, if you could, your audio quality is not very good, so if you could improve that because you always bring up good points and ask good questions. So if you could figure out your audio issue, that would be great. But yeah, but that's a good point.
School has a tendency to switch the microphone, so you have to be very careful that on that little arrow next to the microphone, it's picking up the correct one. Next to respond on this, we have. That's a little better.
I actually had a point to make if I could on the same thing. I don't see this helping the Iranian people at all. Unfortunately, what they're going to do, I think, is they're probably going to bribe more of their own supporters to come out in the streets, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, come," because they used to give them sandis, and which is like fruit juice before it's a running joke. But now they're going to offer them actual food and stuff because food is so expensive. So they're going to come out in droves, like most likely to try and pretend like they're for the regime, even if they're not. So I don't think it's a great idea.
In general, food is kind of can be used like a currency. Like, oh, we're only giving them food, not money. Well, I mean, food can be used like currency. You could trade with food. Yeah. Okay. Who's next?
Next to reply on this, we have Jeffrey. Jeffrey, go ahead.
So a couple of points on this. Armin's not wrong in the sense that sanctions or like denying human security concerns to a occupied country in the hopes that it spurs uprisings have not been shown to be very effective in doing so. In fact, when I was right after the Green Revolution and the Mullah regime had slaughtered kids during the Green Revolution in 2009, and I know you have issues with this guy. I was asked to speak on a panel with Amir Fakhrivar at the Iranian Enterprise Institute and Freedom House. And so I went down the line of different positive and negative, inducements, right? Like a policy, the range of policies from positive inducement, bribery, all the way down to negative inducement, airstrikes. Airstrikes are far more positively discriminative in that you can focus them on the assholes that you want to eliminate or punish. Whereas sanctions are perversely discriminative in the sense that they harm, like with regards to food and basic human security concerns, right? It's usually perversely discriminative in the sense that it just harms the most vulnerable of a society. We've tried some of these things with smart sanctions and all that. Really didn't work very well. So I think that the approach, I'll get to the approach that they're, trying to do in a minute. Armin's also he's also correct in the sense we did something similar like during the Iran-Iraq war. So the United States did not provide Saddam Hussein material support for WMDs. Saddam Hussein's weapons were all Eastern Soviet Bloc sourced stuff, including his WMD capability, other than a couple of superficial attempts at procuring dual-purpose precursor elements regarding anthrax through fraudulent front companies, which when discovered was immediately shut down and denied. How did Saddam get some of that money? We provided Saddam satellite intelligence, some small arms, and food aid, and Saddam sold the food aid, at least to the best of my understanding, to raise money that then he used to purchase that stuff. So, I mean, Armin is concerned, rightly so, with regards to the Mullah regime remnants pulling something similar now, right? The whole point is to provide, is to deny the regime the ability to reconstitute itself vis-a-vis lifting oil sanctions, and not punish Iranian people. So as it's envisioned right now under Vance and the rest of them, where does it kind of shake out? So as of today, there's talks of, although they haven't, to the best of my knowledge, agreed on this, it could unlock about, I think it's $10 billion potential. And there's some involvement with Jared Kushner, Vance, and Qatari. It floated the idea of unfreezing Iranian assets between 12 and 24 billion, which would come with some strict conditions. You'd have U.S. and Qatari oversight and approval. The funds are restricted to purchasing U.S. agricultural products like soybeans, corn, wheat, explicitly to feed Iranian people as well as benefit American farmers. Here's some of the benefits and challenges. So the benefits, it's humanitarian for civilians. It helps address food insecurity or shortages inside Iran, exacerbated by the Mullah regime's mishandling of their economy and or just stealing money outright to pursue all kinds of crazy shit, from ballistic missiles to weapons to whatever. I want to enumerate them all. It's an economic win for the U.S. because it boosts American farmers and ag exports with major sales, particularly in staples like corn, wheat, and soy. It's leveraging the talks. It's not a blank check, albeit we have a third party like Qatar, which is a mixed bag. It limits the bad use of funds, or at least directly, although not indirectly, as Armin rightly pointed out. It doesn't eliminate it. It counters propaganda and builds soft power, right? And it has some historical, underpinnings, although they were very checkered at best. Here's the challenges. The regime remnants, if it rejects conditions as sovereignty violations or they find it humiliating, they want cash and unrestricted funds. That's why they are pushing back against it. Diversion and enforcement gaps. It's very hard to guarantee the funds, goods reach civilians versus military elites or remnants or hardliners. This actually happened with regards to the 1993 agreed framework between that Bimbo the Clown looking syphilitic fuck Bill Clinton and the North Korean regime. I actually know the main players on both sides of that endeavor, both Madam Not Too Bright Dean Galuchtard, who was the dean at Georgetown when I attended classes there, and Major Dunn, who was the main military representative of that effort, who absolutely hated the Clintonistas. So what happened? And the 1993 agreed framework and 1994 Sunshine Plan was, floated by Bill Clinton to the North Korean regime. If they allegedly suspended and I say allegedly because they violated their agreement anyway, this serves as a cautionary tale with regards to regime remnants. If the North Korean regime suspended its ballistic missile and nuclear weapons development, that we would provide 2,200 calories per person per day, which we did. The North Korean regime absolutely violated it. They never even adhered to it. And what they did is Kim Il Ping Pong Head's dad took all the bags of rice that we provided, had his soldiers scrub the American flags off of them, store them for his soldiers, and triaged a third of his people to starve to death, particularly in northern North Korea, to the point where they were digging dead people out of the ground to fucking eat them. So there's that issue. Banking and practical hurdles. So even with licensings, there's many banks like de-risk and they don't want to deal with the regime remnants. So there's all that kind of crap. I mean, it's kind of clunky as shit. Even when you have OFAC guidance, you're going to see domestic political backlash. Hawks like yours truly will criticize the relief as rewarding for bad behavior, which in many cases it can be, albeit it's trying to sit there and, incentivize a pause while we restock stuff, which every asshole knows what everybody knows that none of this is good faith, right? You have like three scorpions, trying to find the chink in each other's armor, so there's that issue. It's going to have limited real impact versus the risk of exploitation. I kind of outlined all that. There's uncertainty and escalation. So even temporary waivers create renewal fights if it fails, all this other stuff. I mean, there's a lot of downsides to this. Overall, the idea is to find ways to provide relief to the Iranian people in a manner that minimizes the overall possibility of the regime remnants to divert those funds to reconstitute military WMD capability and or terrorism. I would contend there's a very, this also underwrites why I pushed very hard and still am. Training will start tomorrow, by the way. With regards to having competitive open source intelligence assessment operations sovereign tide, recognizing His Highness Prince Reza Pahlavi and the transitionary government as the official government in exile, and liberating very large oil tankers that the Mullah regime uses to try to obtain any kind of monetary resources to reconstitute its crazy shit. Sorry, it was a bit long. That was a lot to go in there. I just wanted to provide some historical background on how to think of it.
That was very, very useful, Jeff. Just if you, I know it's challenging, but if you could pack it to shorter segments because there's so many people waiting to respond, that would be. I know it's really hard, but yeah, because it's also very valuable. It's just we want to make sure that more people get to speak to. All right, so who's next?
All right, next to respond on this is Jim.
Hey, Armin, can you hear me? Okay, this is my first time here.
Okay, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, and welcome to our group.
All right. Well, thank you. I just want to tell you I appreciate you and Goldie and I've been following you since the beginning of all of this, and it's been very helpful. My response is more of, I thought I had a topic, but I think this topic is so big. But one thing I wanted to highlight is clause number 13 in the MOU agreement. It has me very concerned. I don't know if I'm sure you've looked at it pretty close, but in that clause, the thing that concerns me is, when this was all beginning, Vice President Vance was talking about how they would be rewarded for good activity, the good activity. But clause 13 doesn't read that way. Clause 13 says, after signing this MOU and subject to the beginning of the implementation of paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11. And I won't go through and read all the clauses, but number 11, the United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon implementation of this MOU. It almost seems like we're giving away too much and not getting a whole lot for it. And that sort of flows into what you're talking about. It makes me concerned about this idea. Okay, yeah, we're going to give them money, but it's going to be food. Is any of that written down anywhere? I don't know. I voted for Trump 3 times. I'm a staunch Republican supporter of Israel. And, but this really has me concerned. I just don't like the area this is going. And I don't know I just feel like somebody misled somebody. And maybe I shouldn't feel that way, but I need a little more than just words now. I need to see stuff written down, so to speak. But anyway, take your time sometime and look over clause 13 and see what I'm talking about. It's very concerning to me.
Yeah. So a lot of people said exactly what you're saying. There's this, and there's a lot about the MOU that suggested that the Islamic Republic is going to get rewarded before they actually demonstrate anything serious. But then the White House was reassuring us that don't worry, because whatever is in the MOU, we're not going to let that happen, right? So they said that the MOU is there, but the MOU is just there, if we don't like what we're saying, we're going to bomb them or something like that, even if regardless of what you have in the MOU. That's what they were saying, right? But then, so the way that we understood it is that the MOU is just like a marketing doc. It's not a legal document. It's a marketing document for the Islamic Republic to show to the regime supporters so that they go along with Ghalibaf, slowly submitting to the United States, right? That was the understanding. And, whatever you read in the MOU, there's no legal binding. United States is the enforcer, so they could decide at any moment if they're happy about this or not. So the way to judge this is that instead of looking at the text, because it's not legally binding anyway, the only thing that we could look at is what actually happens rather than what is in the MOU. And the problem with that is that we will find out when it's too late. Because there's no legally binding document here, they could tell us that, yeah, don't worry, the Islamic Republic has to show good behavior before anything is released. But they say it's basically trust us, and then that's exactly what's going to happen. And then we go, if that is not what's happening, then it's too late anyways. So at the beginning of this right now, it's not looking great, because the Islamic Republic has already received a lot of oil revenue, and they're saying, don't worry, that's not going to be released to them in cash. But again, we already discussed what's the issue with that. So now, we're now going to go to these other things, like there's a blockade removal and the access to oil money and the sanction removal that is already looking really bad. So now we're going to have to see what's going to happen with the $24 billion frozen funds and the way that the $300 billion, the other $300 billion was sold to us, made it look like, okay, maybe it's not that much of a bad idea, because it's not going to go for the IRGC, it's going to be against the IRGC. But that's how they're selling it to us. That's why every time I said, if that's what's actually happening, then it's good. But then we might get there, and it might be actually, no, this is $24 billion directly to IRGC with no conditions. By the time it happens, it's already too late. We can't, I mean, the American voters can't do anything about it, and many of them are not even paying that much of attention to this right now, right? And when it's done, it's already done. So if you're looking for a document that is written down and signed and is binding, it's not. Any legal document is as good as the enforcing power behind it. You know, a document that is signed, like this is international. This is not like, because whose authority? A law is a law because there's an authority that enforces the law. Within a nation state, the law is the state. But outside of a state, this is why I think like international law is not even international law, it's our international suggestions. Because who is the authority above the nation, above the state in a nation that is supposed to be international, other than the power of, you know, U.S. military? So it's basically whatever the U.S. says it is, that will be what it is, because they're the enforcement power behind it, and the document itself is meaningless, in my opinion. And we just have to see what the U.S. will be happy with, and what President Trump basically is going to be okay with, and what he's not going to be okay with. And it seems like what we want, and what you want here, is not that much of a. It's not going to be that much of a. The midterms are the key here, and what influences the midterm, apparently. What do you think about all of that, Jim?
Well, it's not comfortable, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah. And you know, in the bottom line, I really don't. And this is tough to say, but the more Vice President Vance talks, the less I trust him. You know, and sometimes I feel like Trump's just saying whatever his advisors say. So I don't know. I've been very discomforted the last few days, but I appreciate what you said, and I understand a little better about, you know, it means whatever the United States says it means, and you know, we just have to see how it goes. But I don't know. I was reading through everything, and that just really, I said, man, no wonder they're giving them all this stuff up front, you know, just for signing this document.
And Jim, they said on state TV inside Iran, they came out and said, guys, don't worry about any of this. We'll get whatever we can from the Americans, and then we'll violate them all later anyways. That they actually publicly said that on state TV inside Iran.
Okay. Well, thanks for this. I really appreciate this group.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, who's next?
I'd like to comment on this for a second, if I may. We could just lie to them too. We did tell them before Operation Midnight Hammer, oh, don't worry, you have 2 weeks, and then we hit them the next day. I mean, this could just be us like extending that ceasefire reload deal so we can reload. We don't know what's going to happen. It could be about the midterms. Jim, you know about swing voters. I lovingly call them the most dangerous animal in America, because they will push the Democrat button or the Republican button and just not care. So these are very worrying people. I lived for a long time in America before I came back to Puerto Rico. I served with a lot of people from the South. I kind of love your accent because it just reminds me of my time in the military. And I do understand that it is very worrying. But, you know, war is a funny game, and the fog of war twists words to mean things they might not. So that should all be taken into account. Midterms are very worrying. During midterms, you want low gas prices, you want low food prices. This is a direct relief to farming, because if that, it's like what food stamps used to be is farming has a problem with sales. Poor people have a problem with getting money. Let's subsidize. So this food, this overage that the farmers have, we take that, give it to people that are hungry. So this is an extension of that. The problem is making it sure it gets to hungry bellies and is not being resold by the IRGC. That's like the big problem. But this is all part of the political mechanics of America. In my view, might be, you know, if it's up to me, we'd be bombing again like a month ago. You know, if it's up to me. But I'm trying to, you know, see the bigger picture. All right. And with that, next response we have is Yuval.
Yes. So I just like to point out two facts. One, at a greater scale, we have the pattern in the world of crisis, like with Hamas or with Iran, that we all think logically, oh, that's it, now it's going to be resolved, and somehow, for some reasons, we cannot figure out, they're not being resolved and they're still there, even though logically there's no reason for them not to be resolved. That's one fact we should bear in mind. So it could be that there is someone out there in the world that likes us always to be in a state of crisis. And then regarding this particular deal, I heard it. I didn't pay attention to each detail until I heard the word soy. Who's the biggest soy farmer in the U.S. or one of the biggest ones? I don't know if you know. It's a guy called Bill Gates. And so what's going on there? I'm not sure. But if indeed giving them soy, like someone's going to buy soy to give the Iranians, well, Bill Gates going to make a lot of money out of it. Just keep that in mind. That's all I have to say.
All right, let me verify. Last on this topic, we have Halda. Halda, would you like to speak?
I just said that you could remove my 2 if you wanted to try to speed up the conversation.
No, Halda, we want this. We want your voice added to this. So go ahead, because you didn't speak. We only wanted the people who already had it to be removed, not the people who are speaking. We just want a variety of opinions. So please add your opinion.
The only comment that I have about this is, the more I study what's going on and the more I listen, I can't help but wonder if there isn't like some sort of, I don't know, puppet master behind the scenes, because literally nothing is making any sense. I just can't help but think that there are some there's a hidden agenda that none of us can see. And I'm really, really concerned that this is going to hurt Iranians and the idea of a free Iran. But that's all I was going to say.
If we had a puppet master behind things would make more sense to us. Puppet masters usually with me, but usually the answer is not a puppet master. Usually, because there's no puppet master, things are more chaotic and harder to understand. That's the result of not having a puppet master, because things get a lot more complicated and multifactorial without a puppet master, right? Also, I do think I don't know if it's that complicated, because I think if we use Occam's razor, again, I'm not saying this is the answer, but Occam's razor suggests that this is the midterms. This is bringing oil prices down before the midterms. It's basically as simple as that. I think that explains it. But maybe it's more complicated. Maybe it's not, but I think it's pretty straightforward. That's what's happening. And yeah, Sketch, feel free to ask me every time if there's super chats, because the editor, even if there is no super chats, our editor looks for the word super chat to be able to know where to cut between the segments, right? So, feel free to ask. Yeah. So,
do we have any super chats?
We have Veteran Hoffman, you celebrating 1 month of memberships with the Lion and Sun flag. Thank you so much. And that's about it. No super chats, but just that. And thank you for being a member for 1 month.
All right. With that, we're back to Halda, who's bringing up the Wikipedia issue, talking about some tactics and how to make sure that's something that's worked in. Halda, you speak on this. Tell us what you think.
All right. I've been doing a little bit of research with the Wikipedia thing, and I do believe that we've got the potential, with a group of people, to be able to start.
Can you give some context for people who don't know what we're talking about? For people like what?
I'm sorry. Let me copy over the link to this particular issue, and then I could talk about it really, really quick.
While you do that, I'll just give a short summary. Wikipedia page on the 2026 Iran war, as they call it, has already announced that it says there Iran won. So they have officially announced Iran as the winner of the as this war. But yeah, so go on.
What I think is, with some dedicated work, I believe that we could get a group of people to target this particular page, and plus any other pages that there's discrepancies on, and try to get these turned into the right direction. I think that maybe we need to tackle, this war effort from many different angles. And I think that some of us may have, strength to do this. And I don't think that we should just focus on Wikipedia. I mean, we're going to see some issues across all kinds of places. And I know a lot of people do not like Wikipedia. I don't either. I'm a professor. I don't allow it to be used in my classes, but that doesn't mean that it's not used all the time. And it also drives AI. I ran a test yesterday of various AI programs, and one of the first things that it pops up searching is Wikipedia. And the last thing that we need, especially here in America, is to have misinformation, spread. And stating that, any of us that are on X, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there seems to be some sort of weird agenda going on to where a huge number of people that are Iranian supporters, dissidents, etc., have been either restricted or banned. And anybody who is complaining about Vance and Trump have been banned or restricted. And, so this is something that I think we also need to pay attention to. And, obviously we can all, message Elon Musk, and we can message X because it's done by, their bot system. But the point remains is that there is a really big issue going on with X and IRGC members and bots or whatever it is that are really starting to sabotage accounts. And that's about all I had to say.
Okay, before we go to the twos, I got a comment on the YouTube chat saying, "Who is this amazing non-woke professor?" And they're shocked that we have non-woke professors. So just wanted to read that comment. Okay, but yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Believe it or not, I used to vote Democrat until I guess took the blue pill or the green pill or whichever pill it is. I'm back, I guess, in December. Well, prior to that, but December was really the tipping point for me. But I'm going to tell you all straight up that Trump and Vance better get it together if they want my vote this November. I'm never going to vote Democrat again, but anyway, just saying.
Great. Awesome. Okay.
It's the red pill, and we might have to do a Matrix watch party. That could be fun. But with that, we go to Ida. Ida, go ahead.
Hey,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hold on.
Oh, she can't hear us.
All right. With that, we're going to move over to Shauna. Shauna, go ahead.
Everybody can hear me, yeah. I just wanted to say that one of the things that might be going on, just as a response to Haldo really quick, is that part of it is just sheer numbers. In the last couple of years, we've gotten a lot more of the quote unquote third world or the global south, or however you want to put it, on the internet, which is why I think a lot of the internet has gotten a lot dumber more recently. Sorry to be blunt about that. But it's harder to go on 5-10 years ago, even with everything with the suppression going on and the censorship that was going on, the conversations were still a little bit more, the meme culture was a little bit more high IQ, a little bit more subtle. And now that the entire world is on there, I think that the average has kind of gone down. So I think that's part of it, is just sheer numbers. You can basically go in, and any account that you don't like, you can press down on, and now we have 1 billion more people on Twitter that don't like Iranians or support the IRGC or Durka type people, and they can just go mass mass dislike something, and that'll trigger the bots. So that's just a thing to kind of be aware of, is there's a little bit of a numbers thing going on now that wasn't there before. So
interesting. Okay.
All right. Next to respond, we have Jonathan.
Should we try Ida again because she was first?
Yeah. Okay. Talking about that, I wrote a message next to my response, which is actually the response. If you want to read it,
we're not gonna go look for it. If you just want to give us a short version of it.
Okay. Basically, I was saying that remember that Wikipedia has rules about offsite drafting. If you're talking about using this group to kind of edit that article, and the other thing is that I've been doing some background research, not what I'm supposed to be doing with my PhD and so on, but to write a rational wiki article on in order to correct misinformation about the January massacre in Iran and so on. But anyway.
No.
But it's not specifically about that.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that. All right.
All right. We can try to go back to Ida. Ida, would you like to speak? Go ahead, please.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. So, on the topic of Wikipedia, I came across article today about how they blocked Larry Singer, one of their own founders, because he tried to bring more pro-Israel voices into the whatever written in Wikipedia. So yeah, they are a black team as well. So I'm just gonna translate that and put it in the chat. I'm trying to do that right now if anybody wants to see. So if they're black, their own founder, so I don't know.
All right.
That's it.
Their trust and safety team is blocking their own founders. This is worrying. Up next, we have Samantha.
I'm gonna post a link right now in the chat. The Writing Guard does like a very good deep dive on YouTube about the Wikipedia issue with, because Israel has the same issue with people like trying to weirdly define Zionism as things it's not, and all sorts of things about Israel on Wikipedia. So he has like an hour-long podcast episode that I just put the link in, that he goes does a deep dive where he talks about how there's top 40 editor people who these 40 people together can out, because they have so much Wikipedia credit points that they can out, overview, put what they want over other people. I don't know how to phrase that, but yeah.
Thank you for that, Samantha. So your audio, that's thank you for putting that in the chat. Your audio was low today. If you could, for next time you're speaking, if you could figure out a way to make sure that it's high, that would be nice. But thank you for that. Okay, Sketch.
I would like to close out this segment by saying I'm going to put in, I opened your links. I have one here from Grokkipedia, right? And it is a stark contrast between the way Wikipedia describes it and Grokkipedia. This is my suggestion, just a tactic suggestion. Tag Elon with them side by side, and the discrepancies on how it discusses certain alleged wins and how it's put on Wikipedia and Grokkipedia, and show him, because it's one of his own projects. He will fight Wikipedia because he created Grokkipedia to fight Wikipedia. Right. So that's his whole purpose. He has a lot of reach. And if you give him a chance to, show off or promote his thing, just as an intelligent entrepreneur, he's going to do it. He's going to say, look, this is why mine is better. Whatever you think of the war, It's obviously not over, whether you want it or not want it. Whether you're on Trump's side or on Vance's side, it's obviously not over. They didn't just win because we still have a lot of stuff going on. No one likes the deal. The left doesn't like the deal either. Like, no one likes the deal. No one is like, you could get everybody talking about it, and he would make that a contrasting issue so people can take from both sides. Tactically, I think it would be sound. If I would also encourage, I don't know if I could help you in this, trying to make the side by side for you images, but for you yourself, Armin, to just tweet out, hey, maybe you would like to see the differences and how these things are being treated by Wikipedia, people like Goldie, people who we kind of have within our sphere that have a little bit more reach than kind of we do in the discussion group. I would consider that a great help. So just to try to further how does point here and being like tactical about this, I would propose that. With that, we can check for super chats.
Okay, we got one super chat by Hezi. Hezi, thank you so much for the super chat, saying, when deceit is potentially a major goal, I don't think Occam's razor is a good way to go through. No, Occam's razor is always a good tool because Occam's razor will take into account that deceit is the option with the least number of assumptions. So Occam's razor would also cover deceit. Occam's razor is, for sure, even with or without deceit, Occam's razor is a very sharp tool to use, very effective tool to use, for sure. Anyways, thank you so much, Hezi, for the super chat. Let's move on to the next topic. What's the next topic?
The next topic is by Raham. Is Trump setting up Vance to fail versus Rubio? There's a lot of topic about presidential stuff, Vance versus Rubio. What's going on with this? Raham, let us know what you think.
Hey, I think with the mic, is that better?
A little bit better. Could be better, but better than before.
And school has a mind of its own. I don't know why it does this. The same setting as last time. It was good. So I'll just speak up a little bit more. It's been interesting seeing what's been.
No, wait. Do the opposite. Move the microphone away from your mouth.
Move it away from my mouth. Okay, is that better now?
Yes, better. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. I guess it's picking up too much. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's been interesting how Trump's kind of got two sidekicks, Vance and Rubio. And everybody, most of us seem to be happier when Rubio's beside him versus Vance. And I've been thinking lately, especially because of the comment that he made when he said, well, if it doesn't work out, then it's on him regarding Vance and the deal a few days ago when it was announced. And he was kind of laughing about it. And then when Vance went to where he went, and then the Qatari foreign minister, I think it was, just kind of snubbed him completely, just didn't even acknowledge him and say anything to him. Trump didn't come out and defend Vance at all, which is really, really weird, especially considering how he kind of just went buck wild on Oliver after he made that comment. It was pretty obvious that the whole United States kind of got disrespected by Qatar in a public setting. And I've just been thinking, I'm wondering, I think we all figured out that Trump is doing all of this for the midterms because, keeping the oil prices down, keeping the markets happy, that's all going to help the Republicans win. And then the next race is going to be the presidential race. Trump's not a part of that directly, but he has to endorse somebody. It's most likely going to be between Rubio and Vance. And I've just been thinking whether Trump is doing all of this to kind of pin all of this stuff on Vance and say, this was his initiative, I wanted to back him, and so on, and then come out at the end of it knowing full well this will fail, most likely, while after it does, after the midterms and they win, he's going to come out and say, this didn't really work out for us, so now we're going to go with what Rubio's been saying and kind of slowly endorse him for the presidential race coming up in a couple of years. And I just want everybody's thoughts on that.
Okay, so just quickly wanted to respond to this. First of all, if this was a 5D chess move to basically put Rubio against somebody's mic is open, guys. Please close your mics. To put Rubio against Vance as a way to make Rubio win, I think this is really horrible timing because we're so far away from the presidential elections, and whatever happens 2 years before is not going to be as influential on people's minds until we get to their things that happen 6 months before, 1 year before. Maybe we'll have more. Like, this is too early to do that. Also, if this was the plan, then why even come out and say it? That would ruin the purpose. Like, if you say, well, if this was a plan, then it would be better if he didn't say anything about it and let it work out, right? Let it if this was the plan to put Rubio and Vance against each other, saying like, oh, if it fails, it's on him, and if it doesn't, I'll get the credit. Like that is making that comment defeats the purpose. You just like expose. What are you doing? Exposing the plan here. Also,
I don't think he was. I don't think he was entirely happy with the plan, but he's doing it because he has to. I personally feel like he miscalculated about how effective the bombings would be at bringing the Islamic regime to its knees, but that hasn't happened.
That doesn't negate what I was saying at all, right? Still, if this is
no.
Let me finish my point. If you could close your mic just for a second, I'm almost done. Thank you. So even if that is the plan, like at the end of the day, if he's planning to put them against each other as a way to lay a trap for Vance, making that statements will not be helpful, right? So also at the end of the day, whatever President Trump says, this has the stamp of approval of the president and the White House on it. Like you could try say it wasn't me, it was Vance. I mean, it's obvious that the White House is 100% behind Vance right now. They're sending him there. They're approving him to say they're like if you look at what President Trump is saying, most of everything he's saying is in approval of what Vance is doing. So later on, if they want to come and say it wasn't us, people are going to keep playing those videos, all the posts by the White House with Vance's speeches, everything Vance is saying is turning into like these images with quotes of Vance with his picture on it being posted by the White House. So coming out and later saying like it wasn't us, it was Vance seems pretty hypocritical when they're like right now they're backing him up. Like it looks like they're backing everything he's saying and everything he's doing 100%. Right? So I don't think that would work. Like it would look actually very cowardly if you're like, oh, it wasn't us, it was Vance. He sucked, so Rubio wins. People are gonna be like, everybody could see, like, what the fuck, like you guys, the entire White House was like backing Vance. Maybe I think if this is happening at all, it's not the White House designing this. It could be Rubio himself just realizing that this is the time to be quiet. Like, I don't think there's a master 5D chess plan by the White House or President Trump. I think maybe Rubio is being strategic himself by not speaking much these moments. Maybe that could be more explainable. Because if this goes to shit, it would be more believable that Rubio was against it if he's not talking and he's not available for questioning right now. Because if he's available for questioning, he either has to endorse it or basically pivot from the question. And if he's against it, then he's going against his boss, which is the president, and he doesn't want to do that. And if he endorses it, then he's going to get in trouble later for supporting this anti-Israeli agenda of Vance. But go on and give your response and see if other people want to talk about this as well in the chat.
Yeah, I completely see why you're saying that, and I do agree with you. I'm just wondering if they're trying to kind of take a win right now and also make the Republican Party as a whole seem more united and having this direction of, hey, we're going to make a deal, because it seems like they are kind of appeasing the Qataris. I believe there was this thing I heard that I think it was UAE, Qatar, and Saudi have pledged to spend $1 trillion in the US over the next few years. and we all know that the Qataris have a pretty close relationship with the Islamic regime. So if these guys make a deal with the Islamic regime, it would appease the Qataris, and I don't really see Rubio being posing up to them, but Vance would. So maybe possibly they're taking that route, so that works out for them. They also win the primaries, and then later on they'll be like, you know what, the Iranians have done this, because we all know like the thing with Hezbollah is probably not going to work out at all, and there's a very good chance the Islamic regime will try to dupe the Americans somehow, some way, after they've been given the green light to carry on as with business as usual, so quote unquote. So I'm just wondering if there's a bigger plan to take a win right now, cool the markets, lower gas prices and oil prices, so that they can get a win for the primaries, even though they all seem united and are signing off on it. And obviously, Trump is going to say, "Yeah, this was I'm on board with this," but then later on he come on and say, just like he did with Bibi, right? He kind of came out before, we're best friends, we're all on the same boat, and then now he's come out and saying all this stuff kind of going against him, and Vance is riding that wave as well. I don't think Rubio would do that either, but yeah, I don't know. It's so confusing. Just we're just trying to think about what's going on and how it's happening. That was just something that came to my mind because I feel like it's going to come down for the Republicans. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to Vance between Vance and Rubio, and Trump's going to endorse one of them. So it'll be interesting to see which way it goes.
Yeah. Guys, when it comes to what's happening in the White House, I think a lot of the decision makings are not as long term as people think it is. Some of it is actually more short term. And, Gandalf in the chat is also pointing out that Rubio knows that Trump has a habit of firing people who publicly disagree with him. So I think Rubio, I completely agree with this. I think Rubio does disagree with this, but he doesn't want to state it right now. It wouldn't work out for him. That's why he's like not available and he's quiet. And also Gandalf is saying Trump cannot legally fire JD, but he can fire Rubio. So smartest move is to close his mouth right now. So that's what Gandalf is saying from Iran. That's what his take is. And also, I do think that a lot of people are talking about 5D chess moves. I wouldn't be shocked if there is a 5D chess move happening here by the Qataris. Like maybe not the 5D chess move that we wanted, but the one that we're getting. We might actually, I wouldn't be surprised at all if at the end of this we're going to see a lot of Qatari money being influencing a lot of what's happening right now. I wouldn't be surprised at all. All right, so who's next?
Next to respond on this, we have Jose.
I think you might be right, Armin, that it might be Rubio staying out of the fray. He kind of got his hands full being the Secretary of State with all the situations going on in Central South America and Europe. So it would make sense for him to concentrate on that role and let Vance stumble along his way.
Wow. All right. Next to respond on this, we have Miguel. Go ahead, Miguel.
Well, I agree with Jose on that one. I think it all comes down to, when it comes to the 2028, I think it's probably going to come down to whether how successful each one of them are in terms of their ability to influence geopolitics. I think Rubio pretty much has an edge on that one, especially with South America. I mean, you can see the results in South America, in Latin America in general, that we actually are seeing, candidates, pro-American right-wing candidates winning elections all throughout Latin America with monumental success. And the Iranian deal, I don't know. It seems like with Vance basically trying to propel this deal and defend it to its absolute, with basically dying on the hill with that. And the chances are it may not even go through. I mean, the regime basically knows that we're on the clock, and they don't have to be on the clock. They just need to survive. That's all they need to do. And they see that Vance, especially that moment, really made him look weak I think Vance is pretty much going to have his odds go down dramatically in the next few years. And so, especially if he doesn't show any real monumental success in terms of foreign policy or not any kind of foreign diplomatic, uh, wins. He hasn't gotten any, to be honest. I don't really see anything on his belt. So, not really sure.
Vance could just be riding the fuck Israel train until till the White House. Like that, he could be that all the way to the White House.
I'd like to comment on this. I could see it. I'm going to try to give a different angle than what's been discussed. Like Vance, if you're going to try to do anything, right? I got this ceasefire, right? We may be doing something later. This is just a memo about what we might talk about if there is ever going to be signed a deal. It's just 2 months. If you can sell this, you're a politician. Can you sell this to the people without getting some segment incredibly angry? Are you the future president? Can you sell this? If you can't sell this, you got trouble. But I need these 60 days because we're doing other things in the background, and I need someone to sell it. Are you the future president? Can you sell this? It's not going well for him. That's one side I'd like to point out. The second side I'd like to point out, if it turns out that it was Vance behind the separatist weapons deal, and at some point he says, no, I mean, it didn't work out for him. The separatist deal, it didn't work out for him. The 60-day ceasefire MOU deal, we're having problems. Then I'd say he's getting set up to fail. I don't think Trump would do that, but that would be my okay, he's being thrown under the bus. That would make me think that. But I don't even know if he's related to that. I know Rubio wouldn't back that idea. So and I know Vance might try that because he's more in line with working with people. You understand what I'm saying? So that's when I would say, yeah, Trump is setting up Rubio to succeed. On Rubio's future, America has immigrants from all over the world, especially Central and South America and the Caribbean. I think we would love him. So he would get a lot of votes from that area. And we are way more conservative than people think when it comes to family, when it comes to kids. Latinos are way more conservative than people think. That would give him an incredible edge if we're talking about, 2028. So that's what I would say on Trump, on Vance. Like maybe is he too close? Is he too anti-Israel? Is he trying to sell it that way instead of trying another method of selling it? Is he being set up to fail? Those are my thoughts on that. Now, I'd like to check for super chats.
We don't have any super chats, but I do want to comment on what you just said. Interesting thought. But I don't see it. I don't think that Vance would be behind the plan to. Did you say that the Kurdish separatists? Like doing that? Is that
25-30% chance? I don't put it very high.
Okay. I mean, it's good to consider, but the reason why I don't see it is because Vance is for de-escalation and moving away from all of this area, anyways, and come back to America, and that would be like a plan to escalate and go for regime change. Like so, Vance would be against even like aerial bombardment, let alone regime change, and that would be a regime change plan. So that's why I think like maybe lower chance. In my opinion, yeah. But okay.
It sounds logical. I see where you're coming from. Next topic we have is from Wyatt. How to turn Iranians' weakness into their greatest strength. I'm thinking we're talking about the people themselves against the IRGC. Go ahead, talk to us, Wyatt.
Well, I was thinking this morning about the Battle of Cowpens in how America won the American Revolution. The United States was getting its butt kicked because Gates tried to fight the war like a traditional war, like he'd stand up guys against British Army, and the British Army was the greatest army in the world, and Cornwallis was a genius. And Gates would get up there, and they'd have these untrained militias, and they would just get slaughtered, and most of them would run away. And so, eventually even Gates ran away. But then General Greene said, what the hell are our greatest weaknesses? Is there a possible way to turn our weaknesses into our strength? So he decided, he had like a George Costanza moment. He said, if everything we're doing is wrong. Let's just do the opposite. Maybe that's right. So what he did in Battle of Cowpens, well, first he split his army in two, which everybody says if you got an inferior army, that's the dumbest thing in the world to do. You never split it in two. So he did. So the British says, aha, we can get him now. So in the Battle of Cowpens, General Morgan, like he had all his militias out there in the front because everybody knew they would run because that's their greatest weakness are the militias. So in the few professional American soldiers were behind the mountains and behind the cowpens.
Wyatt's audio cut for me? Did it cut for you guys as well?
Okay.
Oh, you guys can hear me, everybody?
Yeah, so Wyatt, we don't need to go through the entire history. So if you could get
okay, yeah, I'm about ended. Well, anyway, Gates said to fire 2 shots and run like hell over the mountains and have the British follow you because they know you're cowards. They have no respect for you. They think you're just cowardly militia. And so when the British army ran over the mountains, all of them were huffing and puffing, and there was the American army with grape shot and everything, wiped them out. And then the French said, hey, the Americans aren't losers after all. Less support. The French came in, and then we won the war. That's how we won the American Civil War base, in a nutshell. All right. I would just, well, my question is, how can we do that in Iran to take what our weaknesses are and flip them around?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Iranian people's weakness is that they're not armed, and the way to flip that around is to arm them. So, I don't know. I don't know how what you just said applies to this, but maybe I saw Jeff. Jeff is the next person, right? Sketch. Maybe Jeff could give us.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not unhelpful to draw operational insight from history. That said, I think Armin kind of summed it up pretty well without going and beating all the stuff regarding track 2 stuff because I don't want to belabor the point. Valid point. I'm just thinking Armin's pretty much where it needs to be. If the issue is that they're not armed, then we should arm them, and on top of that, make sure that they're trained to use them. There's other things you can do. Again, I don't want to belabor those points.
Thank you, Jeff.
I would comment that if the direct approach doesn't work and you want an indirect approach, the only thing that seems logical to me is sabotage. Sabotage their communications, sabotage anything that is directly linked to their infrastructure, their buildings, anything that's not to do with the people, all to do with the state, and all to do with directly the IRGC. Well, power lines, clog up their toilets so they can't poo. Anything like that, anything that demoralizes, especially these people that are very proud. And clog their toilets, cut their power, cut their water, like anything that you can do that doesn't hurt the people but hurts their buildings, their infrastructure. That's the only thing I can think of, because if the problem is direct confrontation, the opposite would be non-confrontation. You don't even know. How are you going to shoot the guy who clogged your toilet if you have no idea who it is? You understand what I'm saying? Like there's little things you could do. Like this is a dumb thing that kids used to do, but they put like some little fireworks in the toilet. Bam, toilet doesn't work anymore. I'm not saying do anything like that, but indirect is, I mean, make them use a little bucket.
They already do, I think, in the military, so I don't think that will help. I think that's what they have. I think they have little buckets.
I was thinking more along the lines of the political class, the ones that stay in their high power, the ones that are going to have their little meeting at the stairs of the Congress because they won't let them in. Like those types, their types of buildings, of ministries, those types of building, that's more along the lines of what I was thinking. We had some other twos here. Wyatt would like to have another reply, but I don't know if we should do everyone else and let Wyatt close. What do you think, Armin?
Sure. Let's. Yeah. And how many twos do we have? Do we have double twos?
We have 3 twos. We have 2 doubles. Another one from Wyatt. Another one from Jeffrey. Midori hasn't spoken on this. Maybe we can go to him next.
Let's go with the person who hasn't spoken, and then anybody who's doing a double, do it short. Like keep it short.
Okay. Midori, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me? We should be able to. Hold on. Let me turn this down. No, I was just agreeing with what Monkey was saying. And I've been saying it from the beginning. Just people need to go fight club. I'm from Venezuela. I was telling my dad, hey, do the same thing over there. Like, get people to have that mindset. Don't think like anybody's going to come here and help you at the end of the day. I'm stuck in the same boat as Iran. I'm even doing far worse than Iran, and I've noticed that. But I think it just comes down to the people doing it themselves, like the French Revolution. What did they do? They took shit on themselves. They went chimp, bro. They went out and they even killed a guy and cooked him and ate him because they were starving. Well, just do the same. I mean, how much do you need to be pushed so far? But obviously, use your brain. Like, be tactical about it. That's just why I mentioned the underworld last time. Are there any gangs that are against the RGC? Are there any gangs that are de factoing? Because if so, these soldiers like to fuck. Well, then speak to the prostitutes, lure them in, poison them, chop them up, and then dispose of them.
Wait. We have to be careful because we're streaming on YouTube. So
no, YouTube.
We're not poisoning and like so. YouTube, just be clear. We're not. This is in Minecraft. These are hypotheticals. We're discovering what's on the news. Yeah. So this
sex work is real work. You believe that, YouTube?
Do not poison anybody, please, guys. Poisoning people is bad. But yeah, go on. Sorry, go on, Midori. Oh, you're muted.
Into their own mouth, into their own hands, man. You cannot wait for the military, for the U.S. or anybody. We need to do it ourselves. I'm speaking like as if I'm Iranian myself, but I understand the sentiment. I understand people's here's frustration, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. They have people in universities. You got a chemistry, I don't know, professor. There you go. Look things up online. Go to the library, man. Even if they shut down the internet, go to the library. Iran has got a culture of high intellectual people that have placed a lot of things in writing. Just go back to basics. That's all I can say. And if you're going to talk to anybody, don't have any devices. Write everything down and then just keep notes to yourself. And then when you need to dispose of them, just burn them. Just go old school. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I understand people's frustration, but that's all I have to say.
Yes. And just to be clear, we're talking about getting instructions on arts and crafts. Okay, so we're basically talking about that. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Okay, so all right. And thank you, by the way.
I think I'm gonna have to add a YouTube warning at the start.
Yes. So the way we talk about this is that we could say. We could report what's happening in different places on this. We shouldn't just be telling people, encouraging people what to do. Okay. You could, for example, the way to talk about it, like I saw some people did this. I saw those people did that. This has happened. Other people did this. Just the language that we have to be careful with is that we shouldn't tell people to go do these things because YouTube is very sensitive. I think people will understand what you guys are saying if you just talk about what other people have done, and basically report the news, report history, and not tell people what to do themselves. That's the way we could be safe, right? All right, Sketch.
All right, next to discuss this topic is Jeffrey. Very short, please.
Yeah, I was gonna bounce off what Sketch said, and keeping Armin's suggestion in mind. Historically, the OSS came up with something like the Simple Sabotage Field Manual, which was gentle interference with organizations and production. And it just kind of outlined how to be the most shittiest petty employee ever. Right? So, like, medium impact, minimum risk. Yeah.
All right. Next to this, close out the topic. Wyatt, go ahead, please.
Okay, I think the answer to this is Robin Hood. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. Steal from the bad, give to the good. If we have an operation like, say, a Phoenix, and they focus on the really bad people, people that are evil. But the supporters are the reasons are evil. They're just morons. What if the people, because you can get a sock and a bag of and a bunch of rocks, go into their house 3 a.m, say hello to them, and then
wait a minute. This is not a call to action. This is a story of something.
It's about Robin Hood.
Guys, please be careful. Just like guys, just let's be clear. We do not condone any acts of vandalism or violence or any like what YouTube algorithm might think we're saying, like we're anti-terrorism, we do not violate the laws of where you are. Everybody should just to be clear. Okay, so, and guys, just don't make direct recommendations to what people should be doing. But yeah, go on.
Okay, well, okay, Robin Hood was a bad guy, but anyway, if we can divide the, if we can divide the really evil people from the good people, because are not good people but stupid people. The stupid people really don't need to have really a bunch of harm to happen to them, but the really bad ones do. If we can constantly if we can constantly Robin Hood the not so bad people, that will encourage them to pull away from the really evil people, and you divide their forces. And I know a lot of people shaking their heads that you can't divide an army, but that's just it. All right, I'll go on. Bye-bye.
All right. What we want to avoid is because we means that would imply that we are a part of it. We're not relating a story that like we should, what you guys have to do, what we have to do. It's very much about the call to action when YouTube is going to press down on people, not saying that they should here, but in times when they have done that, what they directly reference is the call to action. So when we say it can't be tied to some call to an action that might cause harm, right? So like if I say, well, everybody gets their toilet clogged, that's not going to kill anybody, right? That's like a very normal everyday thing. People sell plungers, it's easy to fix, right? So that's why I went with something soft, but it's the direct call to action, which is why people are being asked, this happened in Venezuela, this happened in Vietnam. So there you're telling a story. There's videos about it all over the internet. Now, because this is an open group, we're going to have a lot of people here. But I just want to stress and bring up this point. It is very important that in our zeal to do good, we are mindful of the platforms and the spaces we occupy. This is a channel that has a lot of reach, having important discussions, important interviews. So we have to treat it with care, with love, with protection. And I understand that this is all coming from a place of love. You guys, you want to help the Iranians. You want to save them. You want these people to be free. And I completely understand that. But we have to be mindful in the way that we speak. It's like when you're walking in enemy territory, you're going to follow their rules because they're not going to be fair. So you want to follow all their rules because it's not going to be applied fairly. So you don't even want to try to break it. And I don't want anybody to feel scolded. I don't want anybody to feel bad about this. I understand the loving place it comes from. But we here, Armin is risking his whole channel to allow us to get our thoughts and share them because he sees value in us. We have to recognize the value that this space has for the people of Iran. He's very humble. He's not going to say, "Oh, I'm so valuable." He would never say that, but I'll say it. I'll say it all day. So I just want to put that out there. Nobody feel bad, but try to follow these rules.
Oh, thank you, Sketch. That's so sweet. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
All right. We're going to move to the next topic from Samantha. Gaza anti-Hamas protest.
We actually have 8 super chats all of a sudden. Can I read
Oh my God.
Yeah, we went from
Hold on, Sam. We got a good news.
Okay, so let me really quickly before I read the super chats, I'm very much anti Robin Hood. Robin Hood is communism. Okay. Steal from the rich, give to the poor, my ass. Okay, so Fuxa, thank you so much for the super chat saying, what is your opinion on the deconfliction thing in Lebanon? I woke up and saw that my eyes turned dark. What the actual fuck? Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just so I don't think Israel is going to hold back, but then they're going to go back in. I think we're going to be on this roller coaster for a very, very long time. If you're referring to what I think you're referring to, I think this is basically, you know, how we had the very fiery ceasefire in the Persian Gulf. I think we're going to have now a very fiery ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah for the foreseeable future. Hezbollah is going to attack Israel. Israel is going to respond. They're going to tell Israel to stop. They're going to tell Hezbollah to stop, as if that's going to do anything. Israel is going to be forced to stop, announce a ceasefire, and then Hezbollah is going to take advantage of that, attack Israel. Israel is going to go respond, and we're going to go I think we're going to be here for a very, very long time for the foreseeable future. So that's what I think is happening. And it's going to be, it's going to get boring for people very soon, unfortunately, because we need to pay attention to that. And thank you for that. Ida is saying no super chats. Why? And then another super chat by Ida saying why again. Thank you, Ida. You got us rolling. Thank you. And because then it came, we had so many super chats right after that. Zipgun with a super chat saying, I love the idea of bringing leadership down a peg through embarrassment. Give the pros, what is this? Give the pros some cameras. I don't know ES cameras? I don't know what that is, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, embarrassment will go only as far. I'd rather the people within this regime just, like the embarrassment comes from the deal and the negotiations. When it comes to the leadership, making cutlets out of them is actually more effective, in my opinion, because it comes with the embarrassment of them not being able to defend themselves. Fuxa with a super chat saying, I saw the people topple the regime in the future. Yes, we already said, yes, we're not making any recommendations of what to do. We're just basically having visions of what could happen in the future. Hezi, thank you so much for the super chat saying the untouchables. What is this? What are you prepared to do? Oh, Malone, what are you prepared to do? Oh, this is a cultural reference that I'm not getting. Sorry, guys.
I think that's the poster for the Untouchables movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
I could be wrong, but
yeah, guys. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm out of touch. So out of touch. No, I'm sorry. Sarah, thank you so much for the super chat saying, to your continued success, Armin Jun Javicha. Thank you, Sarah and Javicha Payande Iran. Thank you, sir. Sarah, always so supportive. 2 more super chat. Fuxa saying, I heard about some unalived mullahs. I didn't do none though. Okay. Yes, you didn't. Guys, everybody write this down. Fuxa was not responsible for mullahs being unalived. Thank you, Fuxa, for clearing the record. And Koala Katie, thank you so much for the super chat saying, hit the like button before you leave. Yes, guys, make sure you support, even if you're not supporting us in any other way, just by liking the stream, you are helping out a lot. And oh my, we got another super chat. Zipgun saying, YouTube wouldn't let me use the word prostitute. Oh, wait, so now I see what you were talking about. Let me go back to that. You were saying, I love the idea of bringing leadership down a peg through embarrassment. Give the prostitutes cameras. Oh, the prostitutes cameras. How was I supposed to know what that is? Oh, okay, because it made sense at the time that you give. So that would not here's the problem, guys. That would not embarrass them because that's allowed in Shia Islam. We have Shia Islam prostitution, which we call sireh, or you pay or temporary marriage. So if you record that and show it to the world, you're going to be like, what? It was completely Islamic. I married her for 2 hours and I paid money for it. So they have to be doing some really weird stuff for that to be embarrassing. And even then, they're going to be like, yeah, it's all Islamic. I paid for it and I did the ayah from the Quran. So it's all okay. Yeah. Okay. Who's next?
That's how I remember. Oh, yeah. All right. Next topic we have is Samantha with a Gaza anti-Hamas protest. Go ahead, Samantha. I don't know if Samantha's still here. I'm going to check. She might be having difficulties, but if anybody has any information on an anti-Hamas Gazan protest, I believe there were news reports.
So let's go to the next topic, and if Sam comes back, we could talk about that. So let's go to the topic.
All right, that's a good idea.
She's back here. Samantha, you're here. I just saw she just popped in. Samantha, it's your topic. Are you here? Samantha. Okay, let's move on to the next person.
The next topic is from Mohammed. He is really annoyed at the IRG football supporters, the annoying IR football team supporters. I would imagine it would annoy all of us, but go ahead. Vent.
So it's a bit off topic, but I'm not talking about the actual Dorkamola supporters. I'm talking about the people who are flying the Lion and Sun flag. But at the same time, they're like, oh, football isn't political. These poor kids work so hard, blah, blah, blah. Like, they deserve our love. It's not like, oh, you motherfuckers, they made it political. Yes, football/soccer is not inherently political. But when you got assholes like this that work at fields, go to games, that hold their little bags for school children and go to games, and don't say a fucking word about what's going on in Iran, what has happened. And you got their captain, Taremi, fucking comes out and says, every country has its problems. No, dickhead. No, every country doesn't have a fucking problem where they go into the hospitals and murder people who came out to oppose the regime. Nobody in modern history, no government has killed. I think it's 100,000 people, but let's just go with the 40,000 that they've established. That's never happened. So I'm not sure how so many of these people, a lot of the people that I personally know and I've grown up with for 20 years, they're just sitting there saying, you know what, it's just football. It's like, okay, well, do you guys have such low morals that you would sell out your own countrymen for some entertainment? Because at the end of the day, like, it's just a damn game. They're not curing cancer. It's just a fucking form of entertainment. So it's becoming really, really annoying to see so many people going to bat for this team and pretending like these guys don't get this opportunity simply because they are supporters of the regime. A few of the people on that team are directly they're Sepah members, so they're IRGC members. Their families are involved within the IRGC as well. So it's just it's just every time I see this on TV and every time that I see both the players and then the idiot supporters who are living their cushy lives in the West pretend like, it's just a game, it's not political, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it fucking does. It does. Inherently, it's not political, but this team made it political because everything and anything to do with the Islamic regime is political. And for anybody who is not Iranian and is watching these games and thinks, they're just athletes, this, that, no, it's nonsense. Nobody's forced these people to come and play. There are other players who were pretty high up in the team. They spoke and they disappeared. And because, they actually had some balls and had a correct moral compass, they weren't just after their own benefits and their own gains. And I'll give you one last example of a person who did that in 2009 when they had the Green Movement because of the stolen votes. It's the biggest one of the people that came out and spoke the harshest against this regime was Ali Karimi. He's dubbed the Iranian Maradona. He was an amazing player. He had the chance of becoming Iran's all-time best player. And he spoke out so much that they retired him at 31 after a tournament that they went to a World Cup qualifier against, I think it was against South Korea. So if you guys hear anybody say that, yeah, it's not political, they didn't do anything wrong, they're just athletes, bullshit. They fully support this regime. If not all 24, I guarantee you at least 20 of them are for this regime. They hate the people that came out and protested, and they haven't said a fucking word about all these people that got massacred and injured as a result of it. It's disgusting. I'm done.
So for people to understand this, by the way, Ram, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. I think it's important to be said. Your idea still sucks. It's really choppy.
Oh.
It's not.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, no, that's okay. That's okay. You don't need to say anything. I mean, it's okay. You don't need to say anything. I'm just saying, like, if you could fix the audio, it would be great because you bring up important topics. And I don't think it's the app because other people's audio is not choppy. But like, it really would be helpful if you could find a way to fix that. But to your point, a lot of people are misunderstanding the Iranian people's issue with the Islamic Republic soccer team because they think like, oh, we're just against it because they're using the Islamic Republic flag, and also because they have been silent about the massacre in early January. That is not at all it, okay? Because like, guys, come on. You don't need like athletes to always make statements about things. Obviously, they couldn't say anything because they would lose their career and stuff like that. All of these motherfuckers, they have actually came out and 100% supported the Islamic Republic's evil crackdown on the Iranian people. Like they weren't just silent. Okay. They came out and 100% fully supported and thanked the IRGC for keeping the country stable. And by that they mean that they came out and massacred the Iranian people when they did an uprising. They thanked the IRGC for that. That's what they did. And not only that, after the IRGC killed tens of thousands of Iranian people in a matter of hours, and not only they didn't spoke against that, they endorsed it, they supported that. They constantly go around and talk about Minab, right? So you can see that they hold like Minab school name, the number of what is it, 164 or 184? They have that number. So they ignoring the, I don't know, the tens of thousands of Iranian people killed. They're ignoring that number and they're going around everywhere and talking about the schoolgirls that died in Minab and just have that number everywhere on their shirts and their hands. And it is absolutely disgusting. So they are every single one of these people is a propaganda tool for the Islamic Republic, and the Islamic Republic says that. Like they say that we need to. They come on TV and they say we need to use the popularity of soccer as a way to keep bring people back to the Islamic Republic. That's what we need to do. Like they don't even hide that, right? So they are self-admittedly propaganda tools of the Islamic Republic, and that's what we are saying, and that's why we're fighting against them, and that's why we boo them at the World Cup and everything. Anyways, I see some twos in the chat, so let's see what other people have to say.
All right. Next to comment on this, we have Jeffrey.
So to actually launch off Raham's very apt statement, people who will say that it's just a game, there's no politics to it. Well, I suggest they look up Jesse Owens. So Jesse Owens, obviously, most people know who he is, was the American of African descent Olympian who defeated Hitler's Übermensch at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. And then he refused to shake Hitler's hand. If you want a more contemporary example, you have two Russian athletes who publicly protested Putin's criminalized counterintelligence state's illegal war of aggression in Ukraine, Andrea Rublev and Daria Katsatina? I can't pronounce it. Daria. So, they very much protested Putin's illegal war of aggression in Ukraine. So, people who are saying that, oh, it's just a fucking, it's just a game, not to the 100,000 Iranian resistance that were slaughtered in 2 days. That actually surpassed the Rwandan genocide in intensity of killing. And the only time people died quicker, if memory serves me correctly, would be the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And even then, that was the United States targeting a regime, not a regime killing fucking citizens. Just saying. Raham, you're right on the fucking money.
I would like to also point out when it's the other side, oh, they love it. They love it when they kneel. Oh, the athletes are going to kneel during the anthem. They love it when the politics is on their side. Oh, the Nike has a sporting goods, has a comment about, a political preference stuff, about Trump, about how we should run the government. So when it's on their side, oh, they love it when athletes get political. They love it when teams and sports and they put the rainbow flag on the NBA or the NFL, and everybody has to wear a purple ribbon or something in the name of something. So this appeal to triviality, this appeal to it being, not important or normal, is like, okay, when you always do it when it's your side, but if it's ever done on someone else's side, if any athlete gets a little patriotic, you have a big problem with it, right? So it's not just this particular thing with Iran. It's also a constant. It's also a constant takeover of everything that's popular: movies, TV, sports, entertainment, any type of entertainment platforms, and it's just invasive, and it's perversive, and it's always one-sided. I'm just getting that off my chest too. And with that, we go to Midori next. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how many of these players actually have a form of security if they do want to go and protest against the regime? I mean, what happened in Australia not too long ago? Remember that kerfuffle? The Iranian women there were like protesting, and then nobody wanted to take them. No country wanted to say, "Hey, you can seek refuge here." Now, when politics needs to get involved, they don't get involved. So I don't know how many of these people are ex-RGC and still playing, but then again, how many of them are actually trying to de facto and just like, I really can't because I've got an invisible gun in the back of my head, so I kind of have to play ball right here, right now.
That is very true. Here we have Jose next. Jose would like to speak on this. Go ahead, Jose.
I'm going to start with the most recent. Midori, they did. That is correct. Australia did offer them asylum, or political asylum. Then they talked to their parents and their kids, and they decided it was better to go back. Okay, so that's the gun that's being held to the players' heads, if there are any that actually give a shit. Okay, and to what Sketch was saying, we finally had a professional sports league that got a 2x4 handed up their rear end, which is Major League Baseball, who tried to stick the pride emblem on every single player's ball caps. And a couple of them put very appropriate, I know this, you're not religious, Armin, but Bible verses as to why they were against it on their hats, because they had to wear a hat. Okay. And one player tried to play without a hat, so he wouldn't do it. Baseball then took it on the chin because the majority of their baseball fans are the Bible Belt type, and they're not going to get bullied. So I was not surprised that the commissioner of baseball said no, there'll be no counter to what the players did, and there'll be no further Pride Night events in Major League Baseball. They heard from the fans, the people that put money. Also, the fact that they have a tax exemption from the federal government, and a couple senators and congressmen said, you're not going to have it for long if you keep this shit up. I wish they had it on the other teams too, but they don't. That's all.
All right. With closing statements from Roham, let's try to keep it short. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so regarding the women's team, so Australia actually had offered them asylum, but then the government went and arrested their families and blackmailed them into coming back, even though a lot of their family members said, don't come back, it's okay, you have a better life, we'll sacrifice ourselves. They basically had to go back, and the way that they even seeked asylum was they ran away from the handlers in Australia. There are videos of this, of the handlers trying to chase them through the hotel. This is the type of regime that these athletes play under. So if you are against them, you won't go far at all. That goes into wrestling. That goes into all the major sports, which is basically football and wrestling are the two big ones in Iran.
All right, that is incredibly sad. I would ask a question of Armin. Have you heard anything about them or their families at all? Maybe an update for another day, since football will be a topic for a while. Maybe we could take a look into that. I'd love to know if we don't know now, maybe later, get an update of what has happened to those young ladies and their families. Or maybe we could go to super chats if we have no information right now.
We don't have any information right now, and I suspect it's because the Islamic Republic is making it so. Because, but if I do hear an update, like because the Islamic Republic puts a lot of pressure, especially because that was such a PR nightmare for the Islamic Republic. So I would suspect that the families have been threatened severely to not get any more information out. And I think that's why we haven't heard anything. But if we do hear anything, I'll keep an eye on it. And if we do hear anything, I'll let you guys know. And thank you guys for, you guys are amazing. So thank you for that, for always looking after us and wanting updates on this. Okay. All right, let me go to the super chats then. Yael from Jerusalem give with a super chat saying, has anyone viewed the 3-part documentary called Hezbollah Inc.? If so, thoughts on it? I have the link if allowed to share. I mean, YouTube doesn't let us allow people to share. If you're an admin, YouTube allows you to share a link, but if you're not an admin, we don't have any ability to allow that. But I think people could search for it, Hezbollah Inc. I think it should show up. Has anybody in the chat, in the discussion group, has anybody watched Hezbollah Inc.? Has anybody seen that? Yeah, I guess not. Okay, but guys, keep an eye on that. If you guys want to watch that, that seems like a good documentary. And thank you for suggestion. Jets, thank you so much. Jets has a new picture. The lion picture just became a member. Is that the same Jets as before? Okay, well, thank you, Jets, for being a member. Casey with a super chat saying oh, look at this. 7 right-wing presidents have won in Latin America. Well, that's a huge shift, right? 7. Wow. I knew that shift is happening. I didn't know that it was that big. Thank you for telling us. Ida with the super chat. Thank you so much, Ida, saying the Iranian regime has promised Hamas that it will raise the issue of Gaza during negotiations with the Trump administration. Did you hear anything about that? I did hear about this. So, and once that you gave me the super chat, I went to look up to see what the exact detail was. The claim is that the Islamic Republic promised Hamas that they raise, the Gaza issue in the negotiations. But people are saying is that the reality is different. That's what they publicly said. But behind the closed doors, some people are reporting that they offered to disarm and limit Hamas in exchange for U.S. sanctions relief. Again, they probably are lying about this, but that's what they. So there were 2 messaging out there. One message for Hamas that we got you, bros. Don't worry, we got your back. And behind closed doors, they told Americans that we will disarm them if we get like for sanctions relief. So these are the 2 messaging. And what really happens is probably different from. I think they're lying to everybody. Like, obviously, we'll see what happens, right? So it is actually Qatar and Turkey who have promised to protect Hamas's political status under the new Trump frameworks. So Qatar and Turkey are now they promised Hamas that they will be protected with whatever Trump is doing. Again, I know like a lot of people are not talking about Qatar and Turkey's influence. Everybody's talking about the United States, the Islamic Republic, Hezbollah, and Israel when it comes to this MOU. But there are 2 major players being very, very active right now, which is Qatar and Turkey, and not that enough. This is why President Trump was talking about Syria and Jolani, okay? Like, this is Turkey's influence in all of this right now. So that's my understanding, but we'll see what happens. I don't see Hamas being disarmed by the Islamic Republic or anyone else except Israel. And Hamas gets disarmed only by not having any arms to hold their guns. You kill them, and that's how you disarm Hamas. Okay, and I think that the only way to disarm Hamas is to let Israel do what it does best in Gaza. That's how you disarm them. And thank you, Ida. Thank you for your support always. We reach our goals, Ida, every time because of you. Thank you. And Fuxa, thank you so much for the super chat saying, who do you support in the World Cup then, Armin? Oh my God. I don't actually have, well, I just know I'm against the Islamic Republic team. Okay, I'll support every and all teams that are on the other side of the Islamic Republic. Whoever is playing with the Islamic Republic, I support that team. Is that a good answer? I don't follow sports that closely. Should I? I don't know. I don't have any time. But yes, Sweden is like playing against the Islamic Republic. Yeah, that's the team I'm supporting. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Yep, that's fair. Okay, that's a good answer. People like the answer. All right, who's next?
I did want to say that I found 2 documentaries, and just to like honor the super chat, what I did was I put them in the discussion message board. I put one of them has 2 parts. I put both of them in there, the one with 2 parts and the one that's more recent, like a month ago. I also put Tea Time with Hezbollah. This is a report by the IDF, so it should be good, right? It's very short, like very simplified. I got that one from Samantha. And if we can get back to Samantha, if her mic is working. If not, she has something I wrote here. She wrote that I can read out. Samantha, is your mic working again?
Can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you, but
Very
you
low.
sound like you are
Can you hear me?
like on a different town or something, shouting at us from so far away. Their audio is like so low.
Okay, let's get
Oh,
read it.
no, your audio just got fixed.
Oh, it just got okay. Yeah, so I've been hearing that so today's June 23rd, and I've been basically hearing that there's gonna be anti-Hamas protests in Gaza on the 26th, so in 3 days. Yeah, and I know that like anti-Hamas doesn't mean pro-Israel, but I still, think that it's a positive sign, and I just wanted to like tell people and ask if anyone else has heard anything about it.
Okay, yeah. Let me actually look into this. Have you guys heard anything about this? But first of all, Samantha, is really good that you're pointing that out because anti-Hamas protests in Gaza is encouraging to see, but don't get too attached to some of these people because a lot of these people hate Hamas and they also hate Israel, right? However, it's a step in the right direction, so it's positive, and it's good to see more of it. And also, even though it's rare, there are people in Gaza who are pro-Israel. Very, 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 very rare. But just want to let you guys know there are people in Gaza who support Israel, and I met a few who came out, who managed to get out. But let me actually see if there's any update on this.
Can I share a point on this while you search?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. One of the things I'd like to remind the people that there have been protests before. Maybe there have been some recent, but I remember, I believe it was last year or the year before, but I think it was last year. There were protests, and those protests were stopped bloodily by Hamas. Some people like to talk about Hamas. Oh, they chose Hamas. Okay, maybe at the start, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they had a little election, got them in, but they do not hold power because it's exclusively by local support. Yeah, there's local support, but there's also a bloody crackdown on anyone that doesn't support Hamas. So, even I'm sure there's maybe a majority of them support him, but anyone who doesn't has to outwardly show support, because if you try to do these protests, I can almost guarantee you in a week, some of these people, we're going to see some horrible videos. I hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I'm wrong. And these people who are against Hamas and seeking for a different way continue down the path of, peace with their neighbors. But in the past, it has been evidently seen that anybody that goes against Hamas, it gets a brutal crackdown. So I would just like to, you know who their father is. Their father is Iran. What do? You know what I'm saying? They're proxies of Iran. They treat protest in pretty much the same manner. I would just like to point that out. Go on, Armin. What did you find?
All right, so this is what I found. A major new grassroots campaign called the June 26th Revolution has exploded online, organized by Gazan journalists and exiled activists. They are actively calling for mass public rallies this week against Hamas rule. So the demands, here are the demands: overwhelmingly exhausted by war, displacements, and catastrophic poverty, organizers are asserting that Hamas is finished. So that's in quotation. So that's their statement. Hamas is finished. Statements demand a return to dignity, rejecting a reality where life is reduced to, again, this part is in quotations, living in a tent and waiting for the water. And then here's a recent context. This is from 2025. I think most people know this already. This builds directly on the massive "We Want to Live." So this was the other protest that they had before in 2025, the "We Want to Live" protest, which is, again, I remember this, the "We Want to Live" protest in Gaza. The reason why I loved it so much is because they had the word "live" in it. So it's like, to me, it was anti-Islamic. I know they didn't see it like that, but to me, anything that has life in it is like anti-Islam, because Islam is the death cult. Islam is about death and dying and afterlife and all of that. So, any chant like Am Israel Chai, there has a life every time people are chanting and fighting for life. To me, it's a movement against Islam, even if they don't see it that way. So that was in 2025. That was their chant, "We Want to Live" protest from last year, where thousands of Palestinians took to the streets in northern Gaza and Khan Yunis to chant against Hamas. So Hamas's reaction: Hamas has historically suppressed these demonstrators with heavy violence, arrests, beating, and accusations of treasons against the dissenters. I saw a video of what that looks like, and I don't recommend people watching it. They had one of these people brought into, like, in front of everybody in the streets, and they pulled out his arm, and they had these huge metal tubes, and they start breaking his arms and his legs in front of everybody, and people were watching it. And the screams of the man is so hard to listen to. It was so hard to listen to that. It was devastating. And they just did that in front of everybody in the street. It was so hard to watch. And yeah, that's what Hamas does. Okay, so I saw some other twos in the chat on this topic, and you can keep it short because I'm almost, yeah. Who's that?
We're almost out of time, yes. But Wyatt, go ahead, please.
Well, it can wait, because it's something I wanted to tell you for a while, that it's about Hamas in Manassas, Virginia.
Okay.
I can tell you tomorrow.
They do spread around.
Yes, they're supposed to be.
You could discuss this with people here right after I leave. So, guys, for people who are new here, I'm leaving in 2 minutes, but this conversation here continues without me. But also in half an hour, I'm having another live stream with Ali covering what's happening in Iran and the MOU and all of that. So either you could come into this discussion group and continue the discussion here in this group call, or you could join me in half an hour and watch my discussion with Ali. So,
or do both. Have it on a side window.
Okay. Sounds good. So you could do both. All right. So let me read the super chat. Ida saying, thank you, Armin, but it's all the people here helping reaching the goal. Thank you all. Yeah, it's everybody. It's the mods. It's the people who like, it's the people who are watching, or the people who are commenting, the people who are subscribing, people who are sharing. Is the Sketch, especially here today for modding. Thank you, Sketch. You're an amazing mod. Just everybody, like always, every time. I love Sketch. I also love his opinions that he adds in the middle between the different comments. I think it actually really improves the flow of the conversation. I really enjoy when he does that. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're gonna make an old monkey blush.
That's so good. Yes. And yeah, everybody, guys, also it's not just super chats, guys. Everybody, like, you don't have to, like, if you want to support us, you could just it's cost half a second to like the stream, and that's very helpful. And yeah, so thank you, everybody. And okay, last super chat is from Jew. Oh, Jew Hater made the comeback, saying hashtag Minob girls, were evil and Trump freed them. No, nobody unfortunately freed the Minob girl. The Islamic Republic is responsible for the death of those girls, and you know it. And they were murdered by the Islamic Republic, and they were not the only person that who thinks killing people is freeing them is a person who's a member of a death cult. So I was just talking about the death cult that is Islam, and this person just demonstrated that I was exactly right about that. All right. So thank you so much, everybody. And we can't leave without Jeffrey giving a response. Jeffrey.
Yeah, I mean, I just I gotta ask, where's this coming from, Jew Hater? It's you're not uncircumcised, are you? Jew Hater. Nobody likes a covered wagon. Nobody. Not men, not women, not those that are still deciding in honor of Sabina. I mean, you get head cheese under there, Jew Hater. If that's the issue, there's plenty of Jewish doctors that'd be more than happy to help you. You just close your eyes. They hit you with a flat hot rock. You cry, Israel! And in like 2 weeks, you're better. You're cleaner. You last a bit longer, which, given your toxic behavior online, if you ever do find a significant other, they'll be a little less disappointed in you. We have to be kind to Jew Hater. He has a tough road to hoe. Hoe, the spirit animal of Jew Hater's mom. He has a hard time with things. Got to put his thumb in his mouth, blow real hard. Jew Hater, we get it, right? You don't like the guys here. I think more it's like internalized self-loathing. It's not our fault that you don't do 69, you do 68, where you pop off, too soon, and then you have to own one. That's not our fault, buddy. But there are plenty of Jewish doctors that can help with that. Just reach out.
Okay. All right. With that. Oh, and also Yael from Jerusalem. Thank you, Jeffrey. That was something. And Yael from Jerusalem just gifted a membership in the chat. Thank you so much, Yael. And I need to head out. So you guys, let me actually stop the recording here. So guys, also one good thing about me leaving is that you guys get to have more private conversations here now that is not being recorded and it's not being streamed on YouTube. So, and there's also less rules. There's more organic conversation after I leave. So I'm gonna go and you guys continue. So, and see you guys same time tomorrow. Till then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukraine, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Javid Shah, Payande Iran. Mwah. See you guys soon.